Morning.
Hello!
Welcome to our HomeSkoolie bus tour day.
Today is the day,
It's today.
but this is what's happening right now.
Yes. Pretty neat. So, it's a hell of an intro, I would say.
Rainbows and sunrises. It's a magical day. Today's the day.
Today is the day. We had planned on doing our Skoolie bus tour today. So,
Why not have a rainbow to start it off? Why not rainbow it up?
yeah, rainbow it up.
Rainbow it up.
So anyway, we'll get to the bus tour when the sun comes out. For now, we'll leave you with a time lapse of the rainbow.
So beautiful. Can you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Enjoy.
See you soon inside.
Okay.
Welcome! You already said welcome earlier, I guess, with the rainbow and the
She just likes to say welcome.
welcome to our home.
So we are going to do our bus tour, and the bus is a work in progress. A lot of things are temporary or it's in the works. We live on the road full time, so converting it on the road is proving to be a difficult task, so things take time.
And we have a 6 and an 8-year-old who very much enjoy playing. And we don't do a lot of media. We don't do movies, screen time, DVDs very often. We have a movie night occasionally, so they play. And if you know about kids and play, their stuff is everywhere. So they have like their Lego play setup going on right now, and we're not gonna like make them clean it up to make the video or the house look perfect, because
We're just gonna do with what we got.
this is how we live, and we want to let you know that this is what our bus looks like most of the time.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard to go over like the extensive plans of what we have going on and what we want to do, but we'll try to get to that. But I think most importantly, this is to document the stage that we're at, and we've been in the bus for about 4 months now,
Since the end of July.
and we've done about 4,000 miles on it. 6,000 miles? 6,000 miles in 4 months, from Illinois to West Yellowstone, up into Spokane, Washington, down into Eugene, Oregon, and back up through the 101 around Washington on the coast. And then we just left
The Oregon coast.
Oregon coast. Where at? What beach was that?
Humbug Mountain.
Humbug Mountain. And then we made it straight to, took a day and made it to Reno. So we're right outside of Carson.
Carson City.
Carson City. Is there another
Nevada.
Carson?
I don't know. Carson City, Nevada is where we're at right now.
Yeah, where the weather's nicer. So anyway, let's go check it out. So this is the back of the bus. And you see up there we had it used to say school bus, and we still have to get the goo gone to get that off so we can paint it. But we've taken off a lot of the little striping and stuff. But there we are. So this is our bed in the back that I framed in. You can see in our first video, this is kind of like part 2 of the build. But in the first video I was able to frame this bed in to give us some storage, so we can put all of our junk in here. We have all of our crystals, and I have all of my eBay stuff, and this is a canopy, and that's a wooden box right there. So that's that. Over here we have our bays in the back. This bus is really nice because it does have storage underneath. I've got this side, one in front, and then one on the other side. Just so you know, the length of the bus is 38 feet, although with the measuring tape it's 36 feet, but I don't know the numbers they give you, 38 feet. Anyway, this is where you put your fuel.
What kind of fuel is it?
Diesel.
Diesel.
This is where I have all my tools and liquids, oils, antifreeze, spray paints,
Here, water. That's how you know that there's water in there.
This is our water storage tank compartment area. And what I did here is I have, it's hard to see. Here, I'll take that for a second. I have these two back tanks, this one here and that one there. And both of those are 42 gallons each. And we've got a pump set up in here and our little pump switch. I don't want to turn that on because this right now is our water supply, but we don't have a sink installed inside the bus yet. So until we do that, it's basically just to have water on the road. And we've got our fuel compartments down here too. And I've also have
Propane, you mean?
our propane. This is plumbed up to the top. This is a propane hose that's going to go to our stove inside the bus when we do get it. And this tank is our urine catch for the toilet that I built. We built a composting toilet, and it has a urine diverter, and it runs into this tank, which has, I'll show you over here,
And sink is going to go into that.
which has its own little drain. It's got its own little piping up under here. You can see how that pipe comes in. And then it's got, on the other side, you can see a P-trap and whatnot. What'd you say?
The sink water.
So the sink water will drain into that, and the bathtub water will drain into that. But what I want to show you is that the way this is set up is with 42 gallons in each tank, plus the urine tank. If all this is full, plus everything in here, we're looking at over 900 pounds. And these storage bays aren't made to hold that much weight. So what I did here is I put in these bed frame rails with all thread that goes all the way up through the bus. Oh, wait, hold on. See if you can see that. It's harder to get under here. So these are bed frame rails, and they run the length of the bin. I got one here, and I've got one back in here on the back side. So with those bed frame rails and the all thread that goes all the way through the bus, it comes up through the floor with large washers, and that is to help support the weight of the bin so the bin doesn't fall off, because they're not made to hold that much weight, and now it is. So if I had a welder, I probably would have done it differently, most likely, but I didn't have a welder, so that's how I did it. So if you need to reinforce your bins, all thread works. You can see it right here. Comes up to the bottom, runs all the way up through into the flooring. I've got two on that side, another one here, another one back there, so two in the middle, and two on the end. And I also did that to the other bin on the other side. I'll show you that. So here's the copper paint that we'll be doing. You can see that we've collected a lot of bugs since the last time we washed it, about a week ago. The whole bus will be done in copper, and the top will have our little HomeSkoolie logo up there. We've got a bike rack here for the kids so we can strap their bikes on nice and easily. What else we got? Oh, since we're going to this side, you can see we started some of the copper paint. Behind here we have our electrical, it's kind of an electrical panel that came with the bus. I'm working on tearing a lot of that stuff out because it's unnecessary. I've already taken some of it out of there and make it more accessible, so you don't need all those wires and stuff.
What is that thing up there?
That is a useless antenna that is supposed to be made to get us better signal. The camera can see with it's got like a white thing.
No, it was out of the shot.
Oh, she knows because she can see the screen on the back. So, but that's called a Wi-Fi Camp Pro 2. And the Wi-Fi Camp Pro is a little antenna that you have to plug in, and it plugs into your 12 volt system. Actually, no, it plugs into 120 volt system, but we have it in our inverter. And it's supposed to give you a good signal, but it only works if you're literally parked right out in front of somebody's house that has internet. Otherwise, it's pretty much useless. But every once in a while, I'll take 20 minutes and waste my life trying to hook it up so we can get internet to no avail.
Rarely works.
This is my cables coming off of my solar up top, and up there we have 8 100-watt panels, so we have 800 watts coming in, and I've got those mounted to brackets. You can see that in one of the first videos we did when we got the Skoolie, so go check that video out. So I just rekeyed these locks because they were old and they wouldn't even turn because they were just so bad and outdated. So I had to custom make these, and I still have more to do on the other side, so I was going to do a short video on how I did that, because I couldn't find one short enough to work. So you can see here, this is the battery bank. Let me get in there. This is my battery bank for my solar. I've got all the wires coming in from the roof, going into my charge controller. And then I've got them going up into the bus. And here I've got 6 100 amp hour batteries. And we've had no problem with solar thus far. And what I did here, you'll notice on the other side too, is I put them up on these raised platforms. And the reason I did that was because these tend to collect water when you're driving or when it's raining really bad from the seals, and I wanted it to be able to, I didn't want the batteries or the water tanks sitting in water. And on the other side, the same thing, if the tanks were to leak, the mass of the tank wouldn't just be sitting in water because it wouldn't dry, so I put them up on these platforms.
What are those platforms?
This is storage shelving, like one of those large storage shelves. 5-tier shelves with the plastic poles, really chintzy. You can't put much on them, but they work really good for the basis for these. And I still got to remount some of this stuff in. This is all temporary because it's what I have at the time. But so far so good. We've gone a lot of miles and they haven't moved on me. And you can see here too, these brackets. Let me see. These are the same ones that I supported. I got the all threads going up. I got 3 of these brackets running along, and I got these metal frames at a Habitat for Humanity restore, thrift store type thing. You can find them. They're bed frames. These were the solid. I liked them because they were square, and it was really cheap, so you don't have to go buy steel. The only thing I had to buy was the all thread, but once again, I've got 2 here, 2 in the middle, and 2 over there. These 2, and then these 2. So I've got 6 all threads going through there to hold the weight of the batteries and the generator. The generator is, I think it's 150 pounds, something like that, plus gas. And then the batteries are somewhere like 80 pounds a piece. So I wanted to hold all the weight that goes in here. And just so you know, the generator and the gas is empty right now. They won't be stored in here, or I have to build a wall because I don't want the gas fumes in with the battery bank. So right now this is just a storage space until we can figure out how to get it going, but you don't ever want to store your fuel in with your batteries. What?
Are the batteries vented?
You can talk, I can't hear you.
Are the batteries vented?
Are the batteries vented? The batteries are not vented yet, but I have a plan to make the batteries vented.
Okay, we'll make that hush hush for my mom.
Oh. Well, these seams leak a lot, so it has somewhat of a vent. It's not an airtight seal, but what I have to do is I've got to figure out the port that I want to put in there, and I have the fans for them in here. It's a mess, but they're in there. I've got a fan that runs off a 12 volt that I'm gonna hang and wire and cut a port. So I haven't gotten to that yet. There's a lot of things I haven't gotten to, but there's a lot of things that need to be done. So that's that.
There's a little child in the window up there.
We're going to, now that you got to go through all that mundane stuff, you get to go in and see all the work we've done so far.
Yes.
And what you're going to see is pretty much a skeleton, because I've only had one section of time that I could frame in for what we have available. There's going to be a lot more stuff that needs to be done.
What does a skeleton mean for people who are not into carpentry?
Oh, it's basically like the rough framing that allows... It's basically the exterior framing that allows, that sets the stage for what you're planning on building. So, like the seats and the bunk beds in the back, everything is basically just kind of the sticks and the 2x4s and the plywood surfaces right now, just allowing us to function later on.
Nothing has been beautified, or there's no like finish work, so we don't have any borders on anything.
Right, so now you're going, why am I watching this video?
To see the process unravel, because it doesn't happen in one day. Rome was not built in a day.
There's a lot to do. So I've already taken out the floor and put insulation in there.
Why don't I grab this so that your head's not cut off?
Okay. So I've already taken out the floor and put in new plywood. I haven't done the stairs yet because we had a time frame of getting that floor done so we can head out to Yellowstone, because we had a time frame of getting there. And that's a whole nother process to do. So this whole thing, the whole entryway needs to be done. And like I said, we've got a lot of other plans, but right now we're going to go ahead and go over what we have done.
Beautiful piece of masterwork.
All right, Steph, you want to give us a tour?
Okay. Disguise is up. So here's our sitting area. We've got just some pillows. We've got standard size pillows here, covered with some material. These are just outdoor seat cushions that I made some little fabric seat covers for. And then what's really neat is Travis put piano hinges on the back here, so they all lift up, and we're able to hide all of our dirty shoes right at the entryway. That way we're not stomping through and...
Stromping?
See? It's not quite. And here's the other side. These are actually king-size pillows, because this seat is actually a little bit bigger than that seat. Travis built this in here to access down here the brake lines.
Yeah, it's the brake fluid.
There's brake fluid under here.
There's a brake fluid reservoir down there that I need to have access to. So this is just a makeshift thing till I figure out how I want to frame that in.
So this lifts up as well, and Travis has a lot of his eBay packaging and stuff in here, and the dog food is stored in here. So this is where our inverter is.
It's a rough framing, but it works for now.
And this is my favorite nook of the house. This is my prized nook. So this is just a fold-up table for right now, and it works for now. This is actually going to be folded up and put on the other side of the couch over there when Travis builds the kitchen cabinets, but for now it works really great. We can pull it out into the middle in between the couches and actually have a table to eat at. And then these are all my wild crafted plant extracts. So I started getting into herbal remedies and natural remedies and wild crafting plants about 7 years ago. And it's just kind of grown since then, and now I'm making personalized blends out of tinctures. And so having an organized space where I can see everything, where I can easily get to all of the tinctures, so that way when somebody says, hey, I've got this going on, I could literally have all of my stuff accessible. I've got empty bottles, and it just makes it really easy to now have this space. So these little copper shelves, Travis fabricated these copper pipes to actually hold these, because we didn't want, they didn't have anything in the store that was copper to hold these, and so Travis took copper piping and bent them, hammered them, screwed them in.
Yeah, I made a little makeshift one for the front here too. It holds our maps and just fishing poles and random stuff. And that's a didgeridoo that I'm working on. Quite long.
So we've been thrifting a lot, and so we've been going through and getting little copper accessories. So copper, we get a question of like, why copper? Why are we doing the bus in copper accessories? First, it looks really cool. Second, copper is an amazing conduit of electricity and intention and power, and it actually holds a lot of connectivity to us. So it actually creates a conduit from what we desire to outside forces bringing it in. So kind of a cool little magic aspect, and it really looks quite fun. So we all have little copper cups now and copper utensils, and these beautiful cabinets are really neat because they actually open up this way, which we were going to put our stove and our sink inside of these, but now we're going, now we're going to build them. Travis is going to build kitchen cabinets now. So we've got everything just kind of in here for right now. We've got
temporary,
all of our little copper goodies going on in there.
Temporary.
Things like that.
Most everything in here is temporary.
Temporary.
Most everything.
So for now, it's really working though. It's making life so that we can actually function, which a lot of people that live in schoolies and are just kind of building them as they go, that is probably the number one thing, is actually having things functionable so that we can all get snacks and eat and know where everything is. So
and that's a roof hatch.
That's a roof hatch.
That's how I get on the roof.
This is our refrigerator. It was a deep freezer. Here's all of our veggies. So the deep freezer we actually converted into a refrigerator with this external temperature gauge. So we have it set right here. And then in order to know, that's not right. It's at 73 degrees right now. I think maybe there's something wrong.
Yep.
With it.
I'll take a look at it in a second.
So no, it's not. Our refrigerator's not supposed to be at 73 degrees right now.
Alright.
So, no, I don't think our refrigerator...
It's cold though.
It feels cold.
So
it's working. I'm glad I saw that. That way we could remedy that.
I just gotta move the thing. Let's move on.
Okay. So, we get a lot of questions about water. How do we get drinking water? What do we do for drinking water? This is our beloved Berkey filter. And what we can do, we can literally take water from any source, river, lake, stream, hose, and with a couple drops of iodine, it'll take out any bacterias. And the Berkey filter actually takes out any chlorine, fluoride, arsenic, heavy metals, all of it. So we have amazing drinking water because of the Berkey.
Alright, let's move on to the bathtub.
Alright, the bathtub is our laundry holder.
Well, there's also, in the bathtub right now, there's also a stove and a sink for when we build our kitchen cabinets.
So, now that we've come in, this is our yoga swing. So maybe the kids can put it up while I'm giving the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Shells?
Yeah, would you?
Yeah, I will.
And look at Zion's being very responsible with his snack right now. I have documentation of that. Actually cleaning up.
So this bathroom though, or this bathtub, you'll see eventually will look similar to our composting toilet area, where I was able to do a little bit of work. And this is pretty much finished work. I will be cedering the back panel there and finishing off the rest of this, but
This cabinet is going to be a part of the kitchen build, though. So
No, I'm gonna rebuild that whole cabinet too.
yeah.
But this is permanent, and this is fully functional. And I don't want to lift that up because I don't know what's in there. Maybe I should.
It's not too bad.
But those are cedar panels, and it looks really nice, and it smells amazing. And that's exactly what we're gonna do with the bathtub here. I'll be wrapping that in cedar.
You okay? Yes. All right.
So
We're on to the kids' space. Open up these curtains a little bit so you can see. But all these curtains are just on wooden dowels, and we use little copper pipes to put them into, which makes it really easy to open and close them.
that's enough, guys. Come on.
Skyan. Zion, I asked Zion to put it up completely. So
Yeah.
Can you let him put it up completely so that you could show everybody how it works when it's fully operational? You guys can each have a turn. Skyan. Thank you. Alright, Zion, we're at your bed. Here, show him your bed.
This is my Lego house.
The camera's over there.
This is my Lego house. I have rubies.
You gotta hold it real still, please, so that everybody can see.
Rubies.
Rubies. Do you wanna show them what your bed does?
Yes.
It has hinges on it, but they put so much stuff on their bed that it doesn't actually function properly.
Yeah, it's
But
really
those
cool.
are all their clothes under there.
We have so many blankets to keep us warm that the blankets are really heavy right now. And this is Skyan's bunk. She actually has a whole little cubby here that she can put blankets in there or her toys and actually play in there and hide in there when she wants to.
So her bed lifts up too, and this was a first design that I had. It's kind of working out, but it's kind of not. Could you guys quit yelling? Skyan, that's unnecessary.
Zion, can you please leave it alone?
Sure.
Thank you.
So,
They have all of their Legos in here stored. So with kids, we needed a lot of, hey Zion,
What?
would you be willing to either share and talk? But it's hard when I'm talking and you're making noises in the background. So if you would like to share about your stuff, that's fine. Okay. So Zion is actually standing right in front of all of his Lego stuff. So that's all their Legos. They love Legos. We needed to create ample space for Legos. Travis is actually going to continue to build some platforms and shelving for their Lego creations. So
there's a lot of building that needs to be done.
this was something that we actually wanted to live in the bus. We didn't want to do a build right away and actually have it all built because we knew that as we were traveling and as we were creating and as we were playing in it, we would come up with more ideas, and we're actually really grateful so much of the time of like, wow, I'm really glad we didn't build that because our minds have changed now that we've lived in it. So if you have the opportunity to travel a little bit in your bus or before your build, it does make it amazing. It makes it a little bit more complicated not having everything usable, but we're not going to have to build things 2 or 3 times, which we know a lot of bus people have had to do. So this area is Travis and I's bedroom area and our office area and our clothes storage area.
Yep. More storage. That goes pretty deep back there. That's what we saw outside. You see, like that's what skeleton framing is. Basically, you just have your rough framing allowing you to have it be functional, and you can always come back later and finish the build.
So we still have little plastic bins here for our clothes. These are our desks area. So I have a laptop that actually goes on my desk. Travis has his full-size Mac computer, which does run completely off of our solar. And he does all of the editing and his music and everything else through that. So really we were able to design the space around our needs, around what we really needed, and we're continuing to see what it is that we need to actually make life functionable and make life easier.
Is functionable? Is that real? Functional?
Functional?
Or functionable?
Oh, maybe
Did you just
not.
make a word?
Maybe that's not a word.
She coined the word.
So, this is our, so we're both in it.
Well, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go check out the swing.
Oh, so there's the
Skyann's on
yoga swing.
Are you demonstrating the swing, Skyann?
No, I'm waiting for Zan to put up the bars.
Let's see you hang upside down. Woo! Just like that. So I mounted this yoga swing to the ceiling here, right on the main frame. I also mounted this little bar here that I use for stretching in the morning, and I also mounted another bar here on the way out the door, just to hang on because it's fun.
And I stand there a lot when I'm doing any videos or picture taking.
And I don't know if you heard that, Steph likes to stand there when we're driving down the road. You stand here and you hold on to the bar, and you can look out the window, and it's really neat. So I think we're going to wrap this up. If you guys are still here, it was a pretty long, extensive video, but in this scenario, that's just kind of what you're going to get. There's so much to do, and we only covered, I think we missed a lot of stuff in there too, but
yeah, but this is kind of a work in progress video, and we hope you enjoyed kind of seeing where it's not living in a bus. There comes a point where you have it perfected, but for a lot of the people that do these builds, it does take time, months, years even.
yeah. And so far, being on the road converting is a process. If you do have, like she was saying, if you do have time to travel in it as you're doing it, if you have a place that you can go build it afterwards is even better.
Yeah.
For us, we're going to be spending our time in Nevada, Utah, Arizona for the winter, and I will be pulling out the generator and doing my build in the desert.
And we do have some family that has offered us another location in Arizona that we can build in during the Thanksgiving time and things like that. So friends, family, letting us use their driveways, letting us use their electricity, letting us store all of the wood inside of a place that is not the bus is really amazing, and we feel really grateful for all the friends that have let us unload all of our stuff in their driveways, including Ann and Joe and Monica and Brad, and really creating space to allow us to live this lifestyle. But it does take a community, and we're so grateful for our community, including you. So if you want to see more, like, subscribe, share. I hear you. Give me just 1 second.
And if you're doing it with kids, you'll become very patient.
Yes.
Or you'll lose your mind, one or the other.
Both usually. You
So
lose your mind.
We're almost 40 minutes into this. I want to wrap it up because I know that your time is valuable too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next build.